Hello everybody and welcome to PSGL here in PlayStation F2. And we're here in the lobby waiting to get underway here for round 4 here in Texas round the Trackers Circuit of Americas, and we're in for a very good race here, I'm sure. Round 4 of 10 in this season 42 season. I think it's season 42. Yes, I'm right about that. And we go into this round with Passy in the Haas in the lead of the championship. 2 podiums out of 3 with a win last round in Austria and a P2 in the opener in Spain as well. So he's looking good going into this. Tiago, a familiar face from the season before this in PlayStation F2, going for that championship, which was pretty close to last year, just losing out to White Sheep, who won that. Here's in P2, winning the first round in Spain, second in Baku, but then had a bit of an off week in Austria. So he'll be looking to bounce back here in the first race in the continent of America. Any of the Americas so far this season. And then we'll be back for Brazilian round 6. Anyway, in third, you've then got ASRT Spiga in the Mercedes. He's about 9 points behind Tiago in the Mercedes. Although he did DNF last time out, so he'll be hoping for a better result here today as well. And then it's very close behind with two points behind him. You've got Nick, who's another returning driver, I'm pretty sure. Then Yannick in the Haas with 20 points is your top 5. So I think we are gonna head into this qualifying session soon, and yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting one. I am Bath Destroyer, your commentator today. Last time I commentated was Spain, and that was a very good race, very exciting at the front. Pretty sure you had quite a lot of excitement. I remember one of the main moments, Bel Souza crashing out near the end of that race whilst running in the podium positions. And hasn't really been able to recover from that mistake, I don't think. At least I think it was Bel Souza. Let me check. Who was it? It was... Do I not have the clip? I swear I have the clip. Yes, it was Bel Souza. So I'm correct about that. And yeah, as I was saying, he's not really been able to have the same pace throughout a race since then, it looks like, looking at the standings. In terms of the constructors, you've got Haas in the lead at the moment with 54 points. Passy, Ita, and Yannick, the Haas drivers, and they've got a podium, at least with one car, in every single round so far. So they'll be hoping to keep that going here at Texas. In the McLarens, you've got Nick and Lucas. They're P2 in the championship, 14 points behind Haas in the constructors. Then it is VCarb in third with Tiago and Ward. Then in fourth, you got the Mercedes pair of Mattia Manga and Spiga. And then Red Bull in fifth with Benjamin Bai and Axel. They have got 17 points with, I think that's Benjamin Bai getting the most of those. Then Sauber are in sixth. Then Williams in seventh. Then Aston Martin, Alpine, and then Ferrari yet to score any points this season. So they'll be hoping to get some today. Right, we're loading into qualifying now. I found quite a tricky track, especially for track limits. I mean, these drivers, they're used to pushing to the absolute limits, and I'm sure most of them will be able to stay within track limits most of the time. But if you go any bit over with those strict track limits, you will be punished. And that's especially hard at this track, where you've got so many different places where you can just go over those white lines, including the S's out of turn 2. The penultimate corner, the quick left, and even some of the other bits of the final sector you can go off as well. So hopefully all the drivers can avoid that and put some laps in. And here we go for qualifying. We've got 18 drivers here today, missing 2. But pretty much a full grid, which is always good to see. Here in PlayStation F2, and we're underway. Wards is the first driver out onto the track in his lovely pink racing balls. One of my favourite special liveries. I love all the special liveries that F125 have added, and I think you get a proper variety of colours and patterns now up and down the grid, which is always nice to see. So we'll keep an eye on Wards, and we'll watch his lap as he's the first one out onto the track. Has only scored 1 point so far this season. So he'll be hoping that he can get more points on the board this week, with him currently 17th in the championship table, as he makes his way now into Sector 3. DNF'd last time out as well in Austria. So hopefully this is a turning point for him in Koto. I think there's quite a few drivers who will be hoping this is a track where they can kind of improve from their previous results prior to this one in the season, round 1, 2 and 3, as Wards now starts his lap, using about 20 ERS straight away. Now into turn 1, flying from one side of the track to the other as he hits the apex. Gets a little bit of wheel spin out of turn 1 and out into the S's, down to about 60 ERS. Getting as close to the limits as he can on all of those curbs. Don't want to leave anything out there. No, a little hesitant turning in for that left, but just about keeps it within track limits. Now down the hill, down into this hairpin. Need a good exit here for the very long straight. Swings it in, touches that inside curb, uses the outside curb as he now goes foot to the floor. DRS enabled, using a large bit of the DRS he had left. Now he's going to be riding that curb on the entry of this heavy braking zone, just braking I think between the 100 metre board and the 50 metre board. And now into sector 3 he goes, the slowest sector of the 3 I'd say, and just as tricky as the other 2, as he now goes through this long right-hander using the remaining bits of ERS before swinging into this left-hander down to 5th. Keeps it in the track limits. Looks like a lovely lap at the moment by Wards. Probably little bits he could improve on, but it is a 30.7 for his first lap, and that is very quick. Spiga now with the 30.6 as his first lap, immediately going faster than Wards. Lucas now in the McLaren. He'll be the next one across the line, and he is slowest there with a 31.0. Bel Souza going to be round the final corner next. What can he do in the Aston Martin in that British Racing green? Bruno Kuhan goes fourth. Nick then fifth ahead of his teammate. Then the other Aston Martin of Danilo goes eighth. Passy fourth. Next Haas is going to cross the line. He invalidates. Harm goes eighth in the Williams. As laps continue to come in. Here comes Axel in the Red Bull. He goes slowest in 11th. Mattis Gillett goes 8th on his first lap. What about Basso in the Mercedes? He goes 11th. 13 people have set laps. A few more crossing the line. MB7 Racing goes 13th in the special liveried Williams. We'll watch Yannick in the Haas. I'm pretty sure he's on a lap. One of 4 who haven't put a time on the board yet, but still very early on in the session, so they've got a lot of time. So at the moment, for some of the two of the reserves here today, Bruno, we'll just call him Bruno. Bruno in 6th in the Red Bull at the moment. He's reserving. Reserved in Austria as well. Got P8 there. And Basso also a reserve in the Mercedes. He's 11th and he got 12th last time out. Yannick has backed out of his lap. I think Diogo Silva in the Alpine has backed out as well. So that's all the action for now, but still a lot to come in this qualifying session. First laps are done. We'll probably see everyone do a second set of laps before their final ones in the closing minutes of the session. But it is Spiga in the Mercedes who was fastest there with a 1:30.639 ahead of Bel Souza in the Aston Martin, who was looking very quick here. Maybe that pace that he had in Spain is coming back. And usually, I'd say in PSF2, the gaps are very, very tiny, at least at the end of the session. But for now, the grid is currently spread from about a second. But I'm sure that's going to close in when more people do their laps and everyone does a lap they're happy with. As we're already seeing drivers immediately back out onto the track. A McLaren, I think a Red Bull. You've also got one of the people who haven't set a lap yet, Priori Bell B. One of my, I'd say he has my favourite name on the grid this year, and I love saying it. He is the first one out. I would say for the second lap, but he's not really set a lap yet, although he did go for the first attempt, which I think he invalidated, so let's see what he can do on this run. He'll be open, he can get a time on the timing sheet. Retired last time out, second retirement, retired in Spain as well. Let's see if he can finish this one. But he's got to get a good time on the board here in qualifying, get a decent place on the grid for the race before thinking about finishing it. As he comes around the final few corners of Sector 3 to begin his lap, and everyone is basically out on the track again for their second laps. You've got Christian and Yannick on the track trying to get their first lap in as well. But we'll watch Priori Bell B as he comes around the final corner, begins his lap down to about 20 ERS, as we saw Ward still on his lap as well. That seems to be what everyone does. It looks like he goes a little wide though out of turn 1, a little squirrely as well. Now through turn 2 into the S's, now turn 3 and 4 and 5, looking decent, hasn't cut the track and is very close to those limits. Swinging the car in, going nice and wide, getting all of that curb. Ooh, a little wiggle, but it's looking okay for Bell B. Now into this heavy braking zone. The hairpin so important for this straight, and he just goes over the limits. Such a little bit there that he went over, but Priori Belbalbi is going to have to go for another lap if he wants to do any better than 15th. Lucas currently 3 temps up in the McLaren in P9 with a 131.0. He'll be hoping to get into the 30s and be the 7th driver to do that as he comes flying round the right-hander before the difficult penultimate corner. Looks decent though as he now goes into the final corner. 3 temps up into sector 3. Does he keep it? Does he gain places? Yes, he does. He goes into P2 there with a 30.6. Second driver to be in the 30.6s, but just behind the pole sitter at the moment, Spiga. Christian in the Ferrari on a lap down in 16th with 3 of the drivers who haven't set laps. What can he do as he comes through the final sector into the right-hander using the remaining bits of ERS? We'll have a little bit for the line. The only Ferrari here today. Can he make them proud? Across the line, he goes 7th. Decent lap there by Christian. Haas behind him, crossing the line. Yannick goes 6th. Passy, his teammate, goes 4th. Decent lap there by him. And Diogo Silva, one of 2 now who've not set laps. 6 minutes left in the session, so it's going to start entering squeaky bum time for Diogo Silva if he can't get a lap on the board this time around. Same for Priori Belbalbi, who's gone back in the pits. A little traffic there. The Sauber getting out of the way for Diogo Silva. Oh, and he just invalidates there through the penultimate corner, and he dives into the pits. Looked like that was going to be the time, but now him and Belbalbi have about 1 opportunity now to set those laps, or they'll be starting at the back of the grid for the United States Grand Prix here in PSGL PlayStation Formula 2. Spiga fastest after the second round of laps, and that's for now. Don't think we have anyone else who's going to set a lap for now. But we'll go through the grid before the final laps. You got Spiga P1, then Lucas, Tiago in 3rd for the Racing Bulls, and Passy in 4th. Bel Souza looking good in 5th, then Ward 6th, Yannick 7th, Harm 8th, Christian in the Ferrari yet to score a point. Christian in P9 at the moment. Then Bruno, one of the reserves tonight, he's P10, Nick P11, Axel P12, Mattis Gullit P13 in the Sauber. Then Basso, another reserve, in 14th. Danilo, 15th. MB72 with a 131.667. Slowest time of the night. He is in 16th. And then you've got the 2 drivers who are yet to set laps and will have one more shot to do so. Priori Belbalbi and Diogo Silva. Danilo, the only driver on the track at the moment, but he is coming in, and we'll have a little quiet moment before the loud engines roar out the pit lane once again for the final time in this qualifying session for their final laps. And as I say that, Danilo comes into the pits, and just as his engine turns off and he gets wheeled into his pit box there, the McLaren is immediately back out onto the track. Which McLaren is it? It is Lucas. P2 at the moment, looking to steal that pole position off Spiga. Lucas Where is he at the moment in the championship? Am I blind? He is. He is P6 at the moment in the championship. Got a podium last time out, P2 in Austria. And he'll be looking to dethrone P3 in the championship, Spiga, from the current pole position, which is a 130.639. Needs to find about 200ths, and that pole will be his. But you've got to look at drivers behind. Tiago, only 300ths of a second behind Lucas. He'll be there. He'll be one of the contenders for pole. And so will Passy and Bel Souza. They're not too far behind. But really, you can't rule out anyone here in PlayStation F2. It's so close between all the drivers. Just one corner done even more perfect than everyone else will give them that time they need and possibly that pole position. I love this camera. You can see the cars in the background as they come out the pits through turn 1, and we can see Lucas, of course, coming around the final corner to begin his final lap here in this qualifying session around the track of Circuit of Americas. One of the trickiest these drivers have to go round in this 10-round calendar, but they make it look easy, and they certainly do. And I'm sure Lucas will show that as he comes round. The S's has backed out. Maybe he's doing two out laps then. Has the tyres warm, and he does have the time to go again. So he might just be doing 2 warm-up laps there, getting the tyres nice and warm, and then going. Behind him, Axel is beginning a lap, I think, unless he's going to back off as well. Comes into turn 1, touches the curb nicely. Doesn't get any of that sausage one, which can definitely hit you off and upset the car. And he wouldn't have time to do another warm-up lap like Lucas. So this is Axel's final lap. So close to track limits there. Going over that curb. Out of the S's now. Down the hill. Using a bit of ERS. But he'll save most of it for this straight. Missing that inside curb there. But doesn't go too wide. Uses that curb on the exit. Now uses a big bit of ERS as he enables the DRS rear wing flap now down into the heavy braking zone. Gets a nice bit of the curb. Want to cut it as much as you can without invalidating. A 10th up at the moment, but Axel goes a little wide as he enters sector 3. That might hurt his time, especially when it's so close between all the drivers. He'll be hoping he can get it back though in this final bit of the lap round the right-hander. Now into the penultimate corner. Looks okay. Into the the final corner. What's it going to be for Axel? He's a little squirrely out and across the line. He goes P9. It's 30.929 for him. What about the drivers behind? Harm goes 7th. Hasses crossed the line next. Yannick goes 4th. MB72 is going to be one of the next ones across the line. Tiago's in the pits. He won't improve. Passy's 5th. MB72 so close to track limits there. Goes across the line. He's only 13th. You're going to get the Aston Martins across the line next. Bel Souza's invalidated. He'll be P6 at best. Danilo is 16th. So he might be near the back if people behind him improve. Nick in the McLaren in 12th. He needs an improvement. He's one of the ones high up in the standings at the moment in the championship, and he goes provisional pole there with a 30.5. What a lap there by Nick. Speaker though, even quicker behind. He's a 10th up into the final 2 corners. Can he steal that pole position from Nick? Around the final corner he goes. Can the Silver Arrows dethrone the Papaya McLaren? Yes, he can. He goes fastest there with a 30.4 ahead of Nick. What a lap there by him. And I think it is him on pole position. Yes, it is. Spiga P3 in the championship. On pole here in Texas Circuit of Americas. It's a McLaren 2-3 behind him. Nick and Lucas very, very close behind. What a qualifying that was. Right at the end there. Spiga taking it back off Nick. Behind the top three, though, you had Tiago, Yannick, Passy, Belsuza, Ward, Harm, Bell B, Axel, Bruno, Christian, MB72, Matas Gillett, Basso, Diogo Silva, and then Danilo was slowest there. The grid split by a second from last to first. Super, super close between all of those 18 drivers. And unfortunately for Danilo, he was the one at the back in that Aston Martin. And we've got a wet race here. This is going to be super, super exciting. Heading down to turn one, and I think for the whole race. McLaren 2-3 behind Spiga in the Mercedes. Now, this is going to be very interesting. Who's going to be quicker in the wets than they were the dry? I think that is something which, in this game, does come into debate quite a lot. With drivers being faster than they are in the wet and the dry, and maybe some that are slower in the wet than they are in the dry, and more chance of mistakes with it being so slippy, of course. And I think this is going to make the race very, very fascinating here at Circuit of Americas. Don't go anywhere here for PSGL PlayStation F2. We're about to get underway any moment, with the drivers just doing their final adjustments to their strategies, their setups, and their fuel. And then we'll be underway here for the fourth round of the Season 42 season in PlayStation F2. And I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Championship is super close with Passy, Tiago, Spiga, all there. Passy and Tiago split by only 1 point going into this one. It's super, super close, and I'm sure it will be like that to the very death at the checkered flag in Saudi Arabia, with it only being a 10-round season. There is so much to play for with there being little rounds. Everyone's going to be wanting to maximise every single result, so they have a chance at the championship or wherever they can finish best. That is the most important thing. Your P3 man in the championship is on pole. Nick in P4 in the championship, he's P2 alongside his teammate who is P6, Lucas, in the McLaren. He is third. So you've got Spiga under threat from the McLarens going up into turn one. I was about to say down, but it definitely isn't down into turn one with that huge hill, and just the elevation up into that turn, and not even just turn one. I feel like you've kind of got ups and downs all throughout the track. And I think the game does very good at showing that. And it's going to be great seeing all the cars here drifting, battling, skidding through the wet at this tricky track here in Circuit of Americas. And we're going to get underway any moment now for the fourth round of the season. Here we go. We've got 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 lights here in Texas. We're underway. It looks like inters for most people. And Spiga gets a good start into turn one. It looks like he's able to keep it, though. And the McLaren's there, keeping him under threat. The Haas and the Racing Bulls there as well. And it's all my days. It's about 5 wide at the back there. And there's a few drivers off. I think that's Matas Gillett and Axel and Hahn. Already incidents here at the back with it being wet. And there's even more chaos through the S's there, with Bell B and Ward's dueling away for P11. Making a little contact, but big contact for Harm, Axel, Matas Gillett at the back. And that is definitely not what they would have wanted at the start of this race. Chaos here in the wet in Circuit of Americas. But Spiga had such a good start. He was just not really under any pressure whatsoever from the McLarens, despite them being quite close into turn one. Spiga keeping that place. That's what he needs for the championship if he wants to catch the likes of Passy and Thiago, who are currently leading the championship, as it's almost 3 wide there, down into the heavy braking zone at the end of the big straight. Bel Souza battling with Passy, that the championship leader I was just talking about. And at the moment, Bel Souza looking good, but Yannick there on his outside as well, battling one Haas, but he's got to be wary of the one behind him as well. We've already got one retirement. Matthias Gillett already retiring after that contact he had at turn 1 with them going on the grass. I think Harm or one of the other drivers involved in that got damage as well, as there's moves everywhere you look on this first lap. Here in a very slippy COTA. I think everyone is on the intermediate tyres. And Axel Pitts, I think he had damage and he retires after that contact as well, as Bruno now getting ahead of Wards for P8. He goes a little wide though, and Wards is going to be able to come back at him side by side. And as I just showed on we got Basso off the track and he's lost his whole wing. The reserve for Mercedes going off in the S's, and he'll be at the very back now, losing that front wing, and he's going to have to get back to the pits as soon as possible, as Wards and Bruno still battling away there for P8, but Spiga maintains the lead. Everyone on the intermediates at the moment. Don't know if it's going to dry up or get heavier in any part of the race, but yeah, everyone on the intermediates at the moment. Still a McLaren 2-3 behind Spiga as Wards goes down the inside of Bruno into P8 ahead of Bruno, but they're still side by side. The junior team and the main team of Red Bull dueling away, as Bel Souza and Yannick battle in front of them, but Wards back down the inside of Bruno in Sector 3 now, into the right-hander. Very long and difficult to keep round the outside with a lack of grip. And Wards proves that with Bruno keeping that place. Yannick ahead of Bel Souza, but Bel Souza down the inside into the final corner. He's able to make the move. He's into P6 now. He's been dueling away with the Haas since the very start, but he is currently ahead. He may have won the battle though, but not the war, as Yannick, looking at him into turn 1, isn't able to make a move though. Bruno staying ahead of Wards. He's going to be back at him though later on in this lap, I'm sure, in that number 97 Racing Bulls car, as they go through the S's, which we saw Bruno go wide in last lap, which led to Wards nearly making a move. And Basso is into the pits now after losing his wing in the S's. Must have just lost it out of one of the corners, and boom, in the wall. Whole race has changed for the worse. And we have already got 2 retirements with that big contact we saw on the first lap. Axel and Matthias Gillett already out. 16 drivers in the race. Near the front, Spiga still controlling the pace. Nick keeping him on his toes though, about 0.5 of a second behind. Although Lucas is being left in the I would say the dust, but it's more like the spray. With him being over a second behind. And Wards does get past Bruno this time around, as Priori Bell B making contact there with MB72, trying to battle there for the final points position. And the Williams is currently ahead. Priori Bell B won't give up though. In that special livery Sauber. Pretty sure that's the Spain pixelated car. As fast as that's beginning to come in, dry line must be developing, which doesn't usually show that it's going to become dry, but more grip, and the cars do definitely get a little faster around the track with those fastest apps coming in. And I think Danilo got past Harm for P14 as well. Harm one of the drivers who was involved in that lap 1 turn 1 contact, and he does have damage from that on that right front wing end plate, and he will be suffering the consequences of that as Danilo goes off into the distance. Four laps gone, 24 to go, as Nick gaining on Spiga. Won't be close enough to make a move though. And with it being so early on in the season, the championship is getting resorted every single race, with Tiago and who is it? Tiago and Passy at the moment, 4th and 5th. They're 1-2 in the championships by a point, but it's looking good for the drivers behind them in the championship currently. Spiga P3, he's in the lead, trying to close that 10-point gap. Nick and Lucas as well, P4 and P6, I'm pretty sure. So they'll be gaining on P1 and P2 in the championship as well. As Nick now says the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 46.804, and you can tell he's fast. He's right on the back of that CrowdStrike Mercedes rear wing. Closest he's been through the S's. Maybe if he stays close, he might be able to make a move on that big straight and into that very heavy braking zone, making it a very good opportunity to overtake. Spiga though, just so consistent so far this evening, and looking to get that gap back up to about 5/10. Lucas still not able to keep up. 1.3 seconds away. Bel Souza, who is running well in P6, he's got his first track limits time penalty of the night with a 3-second time penalty. Same goes for Basso at the back. He's got a penalty as well. And I think with it being wet, I think it definitely makes it harder to stay on track limits as all. Bel Souza and Passy make a little contact. I think Bel Souza might have just moved over a little on Passy, who was on the outside, nearly pushed him off the track with his right rear and Passy's left front making contact. But Bel Souza does get that place. Passy's not affected too much, although I don't know if Passy will be unhappy about that, the current championship leader. Bel Souza currently getting away from Passy actually quite a bit in that Haas. A Haas in White Sheep won the PlayStation F2 Championship last time out in season 41. So it could be the same this time for Passy, number 77, if he's able to keep up for the rest of the season, although it is very early days, so don't want to do commentator's curse of any of that. Hopefully Passy continues to have good strong pace all throughout the remaining 7 rounds of the season, including this one. And Ward's looking at Yannick now around the outside. He got past Bruno a few laps ago, and now he's down the inside at the remaining parts of the S's on Yannick, looking to do that switch back as they now go down the hill. Move. Oh, he's going to go down the inside of the Haas, and Haas's home GP, and they make a little contact. Bruno might get involved now there as well. He is just behind Yannick, getting that slipstream. It's going to be very close between all three drivers now. Wards defends the inside line. The Haas goes to the outside. The Red Bull can't really do much. Oh, and now Bruno trying to do the switch back on Yannick on the outside of the Haas. But it looks like Yannick is able to keep the place for now. Haas P1 in the Constructors. And they'll be open for another good result as Bruno goes down the inside of Yannick, trying to get P8 off him. Into the long sweeping right-hander. Oh, the Haas not giving Red Bull much room. The Red Bull's trying to stick in there, and no, he just has to back out there, and Yannick keeps the place. Although Wards did get by and is into P7 now. Spiga taking that fastest lap off Nick, who looked to be a threat a lap ago, but Spiga's opened that time back up and is about 6/10. And he is still in the lead here on lap 7. Christian in the Ferrari, the next driver to get a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Looking like points are going to have to wait for another round at the moment, although it's still early days in this race, so don't want to say anything too early. But it is bad that he does have a penalty this early on and is out of the points, of course. Has a large gap to Priori Balbalbi as well, about 2.2 seconds. So he's got some gaining to do if he wants to get Ferrari's first points of the season, still on 0 in the Constructors' Championship. Spiegher's now got the gap up to about 1 second in the lead, as the McLaren struggle to keep up. Haven't provided much of a threat so far this race, after Spiegher just completely flew off the line, and Nick hasn't really been able to go for an overtake yet, and it's looking to stay that way as the Silver Arrows just keeps on pushing, keeps on widening that gap to the Papaya McLarens, as Danilo is the next one to get a penalty for track limits. These interconditions definitely making it a lot more difficult. And interestingly, already Thiago going to that inside line on straights, trying to cool the tyres down, getting the extra, well, not really extra, but trying to cool down those tyres with the water on the inside, which may show a sign of, tyre degradation, trying to keep the tyres cool if they're warming up, so he doesn't get too much oversteer, or maybe it's drying up a little. There is definitely a dry line now at this part of the race, as MB7-2 is the next one to get track limits. I think, as I previously mentioned, I think just before I start talking about Thiago, I think these weather conditions are definitely making it harder for the drivers to stay on the track, as more drivers begin to go to the inside line to collect that water to cool down the tyres. And yeah, 5 drivers now with 3-second time penalties. That's Bel Souza, MB7-2 in 10th, Christian in 12th in the Ferrari, Danilo, and then Basso at the back, who will be struggling after that contact he had with the wall, losing his front wing. We got Bel Souza. He's made a mistake. He's lost a few positions, down to P8 now. And that's just something we've seen quite a lot so far this season by Bel Souza. He looks like he has decent pace, but then he just makes a bit of a mistake and loses a lot from it. And now he is into the pits after that. Obviously not as big as a mistake as he made in Spain in the penultimate lap, crashing into the wall. That was definitely a big mistake by him, but definitely not to the same degree there, but must have just lit up the rears, maybe spun, just had a big moment and lost those places to the Hasses. He now comes out onto the track, onto new intermediates, so was clearly struggling. I will be hoping to do somewhat of an undercut on those new inters into where, especially at Trasset Kota, can get pretty high, I think. So let's see if anyone reacts and goes in as well, or if that was just a Bel Souza problem. Also may show it is going to stay inters for at least quite a bit longer in this race, as Spiegher continuing to set fastest sectors, fastest laps. The track does definitely look dry lap by lap, so maybe the dries are coming, but it is still raining. Raindrops are still hitting those cars, so the rain hasn't stopped yet. Spiegher still keeping that gap to the McLarens at about a second. as we go now on to lap 10 of 28. And he sets the fastest lap there with a 1:45.013. One of the closest battles on the track at the moment is the reserve Bruno and Passy, the championship leader. 4 tenths behind the Haas as they make their way through the S's, which I think I like how it looks in the wet. And Passy just getting away from him a bit in that technical combination of corners. And Passy will most likely keep that place. Although he looks a lot closer now, actually, out of the hairpin. Must have got a good exit. And the gap's just under 3 tenths. Thinks about a move, but Bruno doesn't go for it. Staying in P8 for now as the gaps between to Largen. Largen? Is that a word? They're beginning to get bigger. Up and down the grid in these wet conditions. The gap from Nick to Lucas now 2 seconds from his teammate. As we get a second driver in now. Tiago into the pits off those inters, and I'm guessing onto a new set of inters here on lap 11. Lasted about 11 laps. How long can he go on this set? MB72 Racing is into the pits as well in the Williams. He's running that P9. Inters go on there for Tiago. Same for MB72 there. Sousa with a 1:44.7, showing those new inters are clearly much faster, with him 3 tenths faster than Spiga, who were the fastest lap before him. As Sousa, speaking about him, he gets past Danilo, his teammate. MB72 out onto the track on those new inters. Let's see what the new intermediate compound runners can do. Are the others staying out because they think he can get to some sort of period where the track is dry on these inters, or maybe their tyre wear's just fine and they don't think they need to come in yet. The leaders stay out for now. But Lucas, P3, he's into the pits. P6 in the championship. And if he gets those new winters on and does a good outlap, he could close that gap to Nick and Spiga and maybe get involved. I'm surprised none of the leading pair of Spiga and Nick have decided to pull in yet. Ward's behind Lucas, he's in as well. Sousa going even faster, 44.3. Those new winters are looking good. They're going to be gaining time. If I was one of those... contact there between Wards and Sousa. Ward's coming out of the pits and Sousa kind of just turning in and making contact with him. But, yeah, as I was saying, if I was one of these old winter runners, I want to be in ASAP. As Danilo is on to new winters as well, because I mean you're going to have extra grip. The people already on them are going fast. Doesn't look like it's going to dry up anytime soon, so I'll go for a new set as the driver's still on those old intermediates, getting that wet bit of the track on the inside there, trying to cool down the tyres. And in terms of pit stops, The top 8 are yet to pit for new Inters. Everyone behind Diogo Silva still needs a pit. So will we see Spiga, Nick, Yannick, Passy, Bruno, Bell B, Christian, or Diogo Silva? Will we see any of those drivers into the pits this time around? You'll see Nick P2 at the moment in this race. He is the one into the pits. One of the ones with the most to lose currently in P2, but he's going for those new intermediates, and maybe this will lead to him maybe getting past Spiga if he stays out a little longer. Not too fast in those old inters. Goes into the pits for new inters, comes out, and he might be behind Nick and have to do some overtaking. But he does look like he's got the pace so far. This race, Diogo Silva is the next one into the pits off those old inters onto new ones, P13. Drivers going to the inside again. Those McLarens currently behind Tiago, who gained quite a lot on those new winters. He was one of the ones who boxed earliest. I think he might have been the second one to go into the pits for new winters, but he is in net P2 at the moment, ahead of the McLarens. So they're gonna have to start making moves, and the new winters are now caught up to the back of the pack of the old inter runners. Spiga is finally in. Where's he going to come out? Is he going to lose that lead to Tiago, who's currently trying to go around the outside of the Ferrari? He needs to make these moves if he wants to keep this position. We're getting more drivers in though, so he won't have to do as much overtaking. Christian stays out. So does Passy, I'm pretty sure. The championship leader now leads the race. Tiago chasing Christian to the inside now, into turn 1. There is your race leader, Spiga, coming out of the pits. He's not your race leader anymore. He is 5th on those new winters now after pitting. Tiago ahead of Christian. Next got past him as well. Spiga going off the track. He's side by side with Lucas through the S's. They make a little contact. Lucas is off the track. He gets a penalty, and now Spiga just about stays ahead of him. Lucas was trying to turn that P6 into a P5, but Spiga keeps it on those new intermediates. He'll have those freshest and grippiest tyres as Belsusa now gets another penalty. Really not helping his race. He was the first one onto his second set of intermediates. And may already be feeling the wear, as it feels like that was quite a while ago now that he did that. Passy in the lead. He is the only one who hasn't boxed onto another set of intermediates yet. So Tiago leads, technically. Nick in P2. Christian yet to pit as well, actually. Passy and Christian are the only ones who haven't pitted as Spiga goes round the outside of them. Just has no grip in that Ferrari. Wards is going to be down the inside into the right-hander as well. They make a little contact, but nothing the Scarlet Red Ferrari can do. With so little grip on those old inters he's been on since the start. Passing now into the pits, and so is Christian. So now everyone is going to be onto new inters as he nearly spins in the pit lane, sparking those rears up. And where will the championship leader fall to? Might even be out of the points as he pits onto these new inters. But, I mean, he's gone so long on those inters. If it stays wet the entire race, Passy should be able to get to the end, which may be a worry for some other drivers. With Passy pitting so late, as Harm is into the pits as well for Williams. I think he pitted early on, so this will be his second stop, and onto another set of inters, and he'll come out at the back. But yeah, Passy coming out in P9 So championship leader has quite a lot to do. Thiago in the lead of the race after those pit stops done, with him boxing quite early. But I mean, I say early. It just all that strategy felt quite a while, but it was all in very short succession. You had Bel Souza, who was the first one to go onto the Inters, then Thiago was the second one, and then everyone quickly followed in the coming laps. And Thiago got the undercut, and he is now in the lead of the race. P2 in the championship, 1 point behind Passy going into this one, who is the championship leader. So Thiago, as it stands, live standings, he is in the lead of the championship. NB72 gets his second penalty of the championship of the race, I think. Here on lap 16, Thiago in the lead. Nick, though, more on Thiago's tail than he was when Spiga was in the lead. Spiga in that P3, the place he is in the championship. P3 in the race, P3 in the title fight. And Bel Souza, P6 on this 7-lap old intermediates, gets another penalty. I think he's got 9 seconds now. We'll look at penalties real quick. So, you have got Lucas, Passy, the championship leader, Christian and Basso, all with 3 seconds time penalties. And with 6, you've got Danilo and MB72 racing. And then the only one with 9 seconds is Bel Souza. He's really racking up the penalties so far this race. Right. Thiago still in the lead, going to that inside as everyone does, cooling down the tyres. Bel Souza now in. He's going to be going on to another set of intermediate surely as Christian gets another 3-second time penalty, and it is again new winters for Bel Souza. I don't know if we're going to see many people doing that, the 2-stop on the inters. I think most people are going to be trying to get to the end, but there might be some like Bel Souza who put it quite early on who might have to. And Thiago, he's one of the ones who pitted early. He might be struggling with wear at the end and be forced to do that 2-stop, and if not, could get a puncture. We'll have to wait and see, though. Basso pitting as well from P15. Bel Souza came out in 13th. And it was all pretty close in the top 4. Not split by much. Thiago followed by Nick. Then Spiga and Wards. And here comes Nick now for the lead of the race. Side by side. He's on the outside into this heavy braking zone at the end of the straight. Thiago at the moment looks like he's going to be able to keep the lead. Nick goes to the outside now. Here in Sector 3. Spiga might be able to make a move now. On the outside. Oh, Nick makes a little contact with Thiago. Spiga making contact with Nick as well. And everyone stays in the positions they were before Sector 3. With the 2 pink racing balls sandwiching Nick and Spiga in at the moment in that P2 and P3. Nick going a little wider out of the final corner now onto lap 8. Yannick in the Haas gets a 3-second time penalty. Got quite a few penalties this race. Is all Spiga going down the inside of the McLaren here at turn 1. Not able to make a move though. Nick keeps the position. Wards right on the back of Spiga too. Or I mean Spiga was right on the back of Nick, but now has to look behind him as Wards is right there as well. nothing changing in the top 4 at the moment. Lucas gaining, although he does have that 3-second time penalty. Behind the top 5, you've got Bruno, the reserve for Red Bull. He is ahead of the 2 Hasses of Yannick and Passy, who will be losing that lead in the championship he currently has. MB7-2 then, a big 7 seconds behind the Hasses in P9, and he does have that penalty, so he will fall by Diego Silva and Priori Bell B most likely. Then you've got Christian, Belcisa, Danilo, all with penalties, P12, P13, P14. Then Harm, who was involved in the turn 1 incident on lap 1, he is 15th. And then Basso is in last, who crashed and lost his wing early on as well. So it's been a tricky race for some, but for others, it has just gone perfect with the strategy and with their pace, including Thiago. Who is in the lead of this race at the moment? Danilo is the next one into the pits. Spiga just behind Nick. Looking like he's one of the closest to make a move, and he's going to go down the inside of Nick. 4P2. Silver Arrows versus the Papaya McLaren. Can he make the move? He's on the outside now. Ooh, it's going to be tricky. But if there's any way we could make the move, it'd be in this section of the track. He's down the inside of Nick again. Spiga versus Nick. Round the long right-hander now. Can he keep it side by side with the McLaren? Thiago will be loving watching this. And Spiga goes wide. And we'll have an affected exit. And Wards might just be behind him and trying to get past him as well. But these 3 battling away at the moment for P2. Spiga using the others again. Nick breaks early and goes down the inside to make contact. Nick sideways. Spiga sideways. Sorry. Briefly as they make more contact. Wheel hook in there. Spiga and Nick. And now Wards is trying to get involved. They make more contact into the S's. Spiga keeps the place, but there's a lot of contact between Nick and Spiga there. Thiago nearly in the lead now by over a second, with Nick and Spiga making so much contact there. MB7-2 and Diego Silva battling over P9. Diego Silva looking like he's got the Williams for that P9 position. And Priori Belbalbi might be trying to get that position as well. MB7-2 on 9-lap old intermediate, so he'll be struggling to keep the younger intermediate tyre drivers behind, as the Hasses do a swap, and MB7-2 and Priori Belbalbi, as I was just saying, they're battling away. Diego Silva already quite far ahead, and Belbalbi will be trying to get that place. He's down the inside, at least he looked, and the Williams wiggled a little, but the Sauber is not able to make the move. He remains in P11 at the moment. After the race, he will get that position, as MB7-2 does have a penalty, but he's trying to do it on the track. Here he goes, down the inside once again. They wheel hook, they make a little contact. Ooh, Christian looking to get involved as well, side by side. Ooh. But Belbalbi does get the place, and whilst that's going on, Thiago, the race leader, goes into the pits as all my days. Belsusa on those new intermediates, having so much grip, going past 2 drivers as Christian's now down the inside of MB7-2 at the final corner. Can't make the move, struggling a little there as MB7-2 loses a lot of places in 1 lap, but Sousa into P11 now on those new intermediates. He's looking quick. Thiago will be quick as well, but he gained from pitting early on those inters and getting to the lead, but it's also meant he's had to do another stop. So maybe the likes of Passy and Spiga, who pitted quite late, they were thinking the long game. They were thinking, if I box now, I won't be able to get to the end. If I box later on and get these tyres to about lap 15, I'll be able to finish the race on that set. So quite smart there by Spiga and Passy. That's one of the reasons why they are the leading drivers in the championship. But Tiago, also near the lead of that championship, I must say. And yeah, probably just didn't really think of that far in the race, and he's had to box again down in P8. He's got a lot to do with not many laps left of the race now. Although I say that, Wards and Nick are into the pits now as well, off those intermediates and onto new ones. So maybe everyone's going to have to pit, or maybe you'll have a few like Passy who can get to the end. We really don't know, but these drivers are having to pit, maybe because the track's dried up a little more since the first set of inters. Tyre wear's worse, so maybe not everyone will maybe no one will get to the end. I don't know, because Nick and Ward's boxing quite early, although they did probably do about 11 laps on their first inter, so done 11 laps again, and they'll be going to the end now on nice, fresh, quick intermediates. So I don't know, are they being forced to do that with tyre wear, or are they just choosing to do that because it's quite quick? I don't really know. It's going to be interesting. MB7-2 coming out of the pits as well, down in 14th as his teammate passes him. And tyres now playing a big part in the ending of this race. We're here on lap 22 of 28. Spiga, who started on pole, is in the lead. Lucas is P2, although he does have a penalty. Passy in P3 now. He doesn't... at least I don't think he needs to pit again with how late he boxed off his first set of intermediates. We'll have to see, though. Passy could be at least on the podium. Maybe Spiga only pitted a lap before him, so he could definitely be going to the end. But can these new intermediates catch up? The Williams do a swap as MB7-2 on those new intermediates is now into P13. But yeah, it's going to be a really fascinating and interesting end to this race, as Tiago on those new inters now sets the fastest lap in the race with a 1 minute 43.107. Thiago Silva is the next one into the pits. Now he's going to be out of the top 10. Viola Balwelby gets into the top 10. Looking good in the Sauber. Christian not far from points either. And Tiago is pushing as much as he physically can. He doesn't need to worry about tyre wear anymore on the new set of intermediates. He is gaining on Yannick loads. The difference between new intermediates and old intermediates, and I'd say all the recent F1 games, is a large amount. So there is a chance that Tiago could still come home with a very, very good result, and maybe not keep the championship lead, which he did have about midpoint in this race, although Passy will be in the lead at the moment, I'm pretty sure, if the race ended like this, with him being in about P3, I think, P2. Actually, yeah, I think somewhere around there. I think Passy would take the lead of the championship, or keep it, as Tiago is second with about 1 point behind him. Look at how close Passy is to overtaking Lucas for that P2 as Christian and Coyote Balbalb battle. Christian is into the points, although he does have that penalty, which you'll have to worry about. I think it's about 6 seconds because of track limits. And Passy's going to go down the inside of Lucas into turn 1. Looked very late on the brakes. He goes wide, but Lucas completely got out of the way for that move, went wide as well, and Passy does get that place, and he is into P2. looking good for the championship leader. With not too many laps left of this race, lap 24 with 28, we're getting to the closing stages. It's been intermediate conditions the entire race, and it looks like it's going to stay that way to the checkered flag. Spiga at the moment in the lead of this race, trying to get to the end on those intermediates, trying to do the one stop. He boxed late whilst everyone else was doing the undercut and was suffering briefly, but now the undercutters, they had to box again because of how early they pitted. So Spiga is looking smart. He's looking to finish his race on this compounded tyre, on this set of intermediates, and take the win. He's got Passy, the championship leader, behind him, but he has a time penalty, so Spiga doesn't have to worry about that too much. Coming around the final corner now to start lap 25, finish lap 24, and put himself one lap closer to that win. He has got Passy though right behind him. Is Passy going to make that move? Is he going to try to take the lead? He goes to the outside for turn one. Is he going to try to do somewhat of a switchback? He goes quite wide though, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to overtake him. Although he looks like he's very fast just behind Spiga. He can't make the move. Tiago has caught up to these old Inter runners. Maybe he still has a chance at the win as Yannick and the McLaren make contact. Yannick goes off the track at the S's there, but Nick and Tiago, two of the drivers who were near the lead, who boxed onto those new intermediates late on, are looking very fast. And they can see Lucas, Passy and Spiga, the top three, right in front of them. Tiago went for the quick strategy. P2 in the championship. Went for that quick strategy for the two-stop. Not caring about tyre wear, just pushing as much as he physically can. And it looks like that might benefit him. As now Passy looking for that race lead round the outside of Spiga as Danilo gets 3-second time penalty. Ward's battling there with Yannick. He gets past him. He's another one on new Inters, but Tiago on those new Inters, he's got so much more grip than the old Inters who were doing the one stop. Tiago doing the two stop. He's got so much grip. He's got so much speed. He gets past the McLaren there on the inside. Has a little tap with him, but he's past Lucas. He's down to fifth now. Nick's past him as well. It's gonna be the Racing Bulls and the McLaren who are making these moves. They only have Passy, the championship leader, and Spiga in front of them. P2 in the championship versus P1 and P3. Can Tiago do it? Can he win this race? He's got 3 laps to get past these two cars to win here in Texas. We've got more moves. Ward's getting past Lucas there, making a little bit of contact, but he's into P5 now. Yannick pits. He's not going to get to the end. Christian is into P9. He's trying to get to the end on those intermediates and get Ferrari's first points of the season. Balbi in the pits. In the points as well as Lucas goes off the track. He was one of the ones on those old intermediates in about P6, but he has gone off and he's lost multiple places now. Has he got a puncture? I don't know, but he has gone off in the S's there and lost quite a few places. He's down to P8 now. It's all kicking off in the last few laps. Tiago has got past Passy. He's into P2 now, but Passy had that time penalty anyway. But Tiago, at the moment, it will take the lead of the championship. Nick down the inside of the Haas as well on those new intermediates. Getting past the Haas and into P3. It's going to be Spiga versus Tiago for the win. Christian getting past Lucas. Lucas has a puncture now. He was struggling. He went off in the S's, but now he's got a puncture. He pulls to one side and lets everyone by. And that's awful for Lucas. He thought he could get to the end, and that's going to get the other drivers who are doing the one stops very, very nervous, as it shows that they can be at risk of getting punctures. Lucas on those 14 lap old ones, he got that. He's the first one to get that puncture. Spiga. His 14th lap on his tyres will be his final one, as Thiago now going for the lead with Spiga. Spiga on the inside. Thiago get out an exit. He goes off the track. Spiga putting him off the track. Nick now gets past Thiago and is going to look for the lead of the race. Spiga is able to keep it for now, though, ahead of Nick and Thiago. Oh my days, what defending there. He went to the inside for turn 1 and he was able to keep the position ahead of Nick and Thiago, the drivers on those fresh new intermediates. And now he's got his teammate Ward right behind him as Lucas continues to crawl to the pits. He's into sector 3 now, at least, at that right-hander. But Spiga keeping the lead now for now. Can P3 in the championship keep this lead and win the United States Grand Prix in what has been a thriller in PSGL Season 42? Here comes Nick, though. It looked like Thiago would be the favourite to win, but Nick was able to make a way past him after Spiga defended. Spiga's done a defend here again against Nick. He's on the outside, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. Nick has the inside line, and Nick takes the lead of the race here on lap 27 of 28. On those new intermediates, the 2 stops worked, and now Spiga's just going to have to defend and try and keep that podium position, but he's got Thiago behind him, he's got Wards behind him, the 2 pink racing bulls, usually a friendly colour, but a fierce colour for now against Spiga. The nice bright pink racing bulls are going down the inside of Spiga at the penultimate corner here on lap 27. Spiga goes off the track, Thiago gets past him, Wards now gets past him. Thiago, who faced Spiga's aggressive defending, gives him some aggressive attacking and gets past Spiga and into P2. The question is now, can Thiago catch Nick and take the lead off him? Nick already a second up the road, though. It looks like the Papaya McLaren will be the one who's victorious. Spiga now is going to have to make sure he doesn't... he's just going to have to take care of his car now and his tyres, make sure he doesn't end up like Lucas and get a puncture, so he can finish the race in P4, which would still be a decent result. You got Passy as well, championship leader, not for much longer. Though in P5 we got a yellow. Who was it? Oh, it's Passy. Has Passy got a puncture? Has he run out of fuel? What's happened? What has happened to Passy, the championship leader? Looking very, very slow. And I think he is out of fuel. Is he out of fuel? I thought it might have been a puncture, but Passy, the championship leader, is out of fuel. That could be a massive twist in the championship with it only being a 10-round season. A big result like that could cost you. Passy, the championship leader, running out of fuel, and he's not even going to get points here in Circuit of Americas. Wow, wow, wow. We thought he looked on for a podium with the 1 stop, but the 1 stop runners have suffered. They looked like they had pulled a blinder with a few laps left, but the 2 stoppers came out of nowhere, passed them, and Nick will come around the final corner and across the line to win the United States Grand Prix here in PlayStation F2 of PSGL. What a result for him. He didn't look like the favourite. Even in the last few laps, it looked like Thiago was going to win. But it is Nick who wins. Thiago in second. It's a Racing Bulls 2-3. And Thiago, I'm pretty sure, takes the lead of the championship. Outside of the top 3, you've got Spiga in P3. He'll be gaining in the championship as well. At least on Passy. But Thiago in the lead. And Spiga's going to have to rethink some more things if he wants to beat a driver like Thiago. He's been in F2 a season or 2. He knows what it's about. And he is in the lead of the championship at the moment, out of round 4. Bel Souza gets a good result. Well done. That's a pat on the back for him. Has struggled recently with mistakes. We saw earlier on. We saw in Spain. But he gets a P5. Good result for him. Bruno, the reserve, in P6. Diogo Silva then 7. Then Christian getting Ferrari. Their first points of the season. Very well done to Christian and the Ferrari crew. He is P8 tonight. Well, well done. Priori Bell B. I love to say that again. Let's just say it again. Priori Bell B. He is P9. Very well done in the sail. But then Passy, the championship leader, running out of fuel, having some sort of issue, gets the final point and loses that lead he had in the championship. So that is your top 10. And what a race. That's one of the best league races I have commentated in a while in terms of pace and skill from the drivers, but also the excitement, the entertainment was truly one to behold. And I feel bad for anyone who thought, you know what, I'm going to give PlayStation F2 a miss tonight in PSGL, because you missed a banger, a certified banger here in round 4 of the season. And I think that is a perfect advertisement for this league, for this tier. And make sure you watch all the other rounds, because that was amazing as we watch the top 3 celebrate there after what was an amazing wet Grand Prix. We'll go through the results again. I'll get you a race director. I don't know if you need it in PSGL, but I'll give you it anyway. There you go. Anyway, it was Nick, Tiago, Ward, Spiga, Bel Souza, Bruno, Diogo Silva, Christian, Belbelby. Passy was your top 10, then your Yannick, MB72, Basso, Danilo, Harm, Lucas, Axel, and Mattis Gillett. Those 2 were your retirements. Wow. What a race. What a race. And I hope everyone enjoyed watching here in PSGL. Make sure you join. Make sure you get involved in some of our lower tiers. Or if you think you got that, some of the higher tiers that do get broadcasted. But what a race, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And make sure to be here for round 5 of this championship, because it is so close at the front right now. You don't know who's going to win any week. The strategy, the pace, it's all great to watch. And it is Tiago currently leading the way after 4 rounds. See you guys.